A boy vanished without a trace. No police reports, no obituaries, no missing persons bulletins to mark where he'd gone. He's the subject of a documentary title promising a summer disappearance, and the headlines that vanished with it. Except pull the actual paperwork, and there is no paperwork, no case, no kid. So the real question isn't what happened to Walter Robinson, it's what exactly manufactures a missing child out of thin air. So we ran it properly. Full name, the word summer. Every archive and cold case database still taking public requests. The result held, nothing sealed, nothing withheld, just an empty drawer where his file should be. No sealed court order, no redacted line, no clerk telling us to come back with a warrant. Just silence. And silence is a lot harder to fake than a redaction. Search engines hate that, so it handed back an answer anyway, one that had nothing to do with a missing boy. That's the actual mystery, and it's a better one than a fake missing boy. If Walter Robinson never existed, something still had to invent him out of a name and a title card. Not the kid then, the machine that built him. Stick with that. It's about to get uglier than any summer disappearance ever could, starting with a dead escape artist. What came back was a lineup. Harry Houdini, professional escape artist, dead since 1926. Fred West, a serial killer whose file is real, documented, and long closed. Neither man was ever a child. Neither man was ever lost. The algorithm didn't care. A Wikipedia essay on theatrical yellowface of all things. Then, a running list titled People Who Disappeared Mysteriously in the 1970s. Dozens of names, none of them his. 4 completely unrelated rabbit holes volunteering themselves for a case nobody ever actually opened. None of the 4 share a surname, a decade, or a jurisdiction with Robinson. What they share is texture. Someone gone, someone dead, someone hidden behind a mask. A search system built to fill a blank doesn't check for truth. It checks for whatever's sitting closest on the shelf, and Houdini, West, and Yellowface were the nearest things it could reach, not evidence. Padding. Ask why Yellowface specifically, and there's no satisfying answer. Wrong century, wrong continent, wrong everything. It's the digital equivalent of grabbing whatever's nearest the door when the building's on fire. You don't check if it matches, you just need something in your hands. So we widened the net into the video shortlist, hoping for corroboration. 6 documented cases came back. Real names, real dates, real endings. One was a camp disappearance, cracked open after 35 years of nothing. A cold file closed only after decades of waiting. Once investigators finally had a name to attach to the remains, and a family got answers at last. Real children, actually missing, actually found decades apart on opposite ends of the country. Every one of them checks out. Not one of them is Walter Robinson. 6 for 6, and the search still can't produce him. That's not a research failure anymore. That's a pattern, and Carter's file we'll come back to. The obvious defense is bad search terms. Try better ones, right? So we did. Cracked open the actual research file meant to anchor this episode and started checking its boxes one by one. Timeline of events, empty. Key people, empty. Statistics, quotes, anything resembling documentation, all empty. Every category built to hold facts about Robinson holds nothing at all. Like a form somebody filled out by leaving it alone. Compare that to a real cold file, where even the failures leave marks. A detective's initials on a dead-end tip, a date stamp on a discarded lead. Robinson's folder has none of that residue. It doesn't look like an investigation that stalled. It looks like one that was never started. Houdini's vanishing acts were choreographed down to the second, sold to an audience that knew, on some level, it was watching a trick. Fred West's case holds no such ambiguity. His killings were confirmed, catalogued, and remain on file with British police to this day. Robinson sits in neither category, not illusion, not atrocity, just absence with nothing on record to even argue about. Scale that up, and the math turns ugly fast. One blank title filled with a dead escape artist and a killer is a fluke, but 100 blank titles filled the same way, by the same kind of tool, stops looking like a fluke and starts looking like a business model. Picture a whole channel built on unverifiable names, each one padded out with whatever adjacent tragedy the algorithm had lying around. Not a research gap, a production pipeline. The dossier admits as much itself. Who he is, unanswered. What year, what country, whether he ever drew breath, unanswered, unanswered, unanswered. Every question the file was supposed to close, left open on purpose. Houdini vanished on cue. West's victims vanished for real and stayed found in the record. Robinson never did either, because there was no summer, no headline, no case underneath the case file. Just a title, waiting for a boy who was never going to show up. That absence doesn't stay empty for long. Something has to fill the runtime. So producers reach for what's already sitting in the archive, the camp case, the cold file that took decades to close. Real families, real grief, real waiting, real headlines that meant something to somebody. The cost isn't abstract. It's their case, wearing his name. The math makes the theft plain. Carter's family lived that weight. Decades of flyers, dead-end tips, a drawer that stayed open the whole time. That's what gets borrowed when a title card invents a Walter Robinson. Not just an audience's 12 minutes. The emotional shorthand that took a real family 41 years to earn, spent instantly on a name attached to nobody. One number measures grief, the other measures nothing, dressed up to look like grief's twin. One family got closure, a body finally matched to a name, a headstone that could finally say who lay beneath it, while Robinson's family waited still. Robinson's file has no such arc to borrow, because there was never a family standing at a mailbox to begin with. Across the same batch of clips, other names got real endings too. No borrowing required. One teenager's disappearance cracked open by a digital trail nobody thought to check. Another missing child, recognized years later by his own sibling. Others confirmed only through DNA, run against samples that had sat in evidence for decades. Robinson left none of it, because there was nothing generating a trail to begin with. Line them up, and the scoreboard does the talking. A camp case cracked after decades in the cold. A sibling's memory closing another. DNA matching bone to a name nobody had spoken in years. A digital trail nailing down a teenager's last hours. Carter, finally, with a name on a headstone. 6 documented children against 1 search engine hallucination. That's not a coincidence, that's a batting average. and Robinson's still at 0. So the answer was sitting there the whole time, just not the kind you put on a headstone. Walter Robinson never went cold because he was never warm to begin with. No boy, no summer, no vanished headlines. Just a folder, somebody labeled case, stapled shut and handed back empty. It looked like a mystery for exactly as long as nobody opened it. The tell shows up every time, a headline with a name, a face, a season attached to it, and nothing underneath holding it up. Robinson's file was the loudest version, but he's unlikely to be the only one wearing borrowed grief. Somewhere on this platform right now, another title is running the exact same trick, promising a real child and delivering a placeholder. He got caught. Most don't. Which is why the next name on this list gets the full 12 minutes instead. Benjamin Carter's already in the batch, already real, already solved, waiting for somebody to actually open the folder this time. That one's not a hallucination. Go check.